Sabrina, and welcome to our Breaking Down Barriers project. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So the Breaking Down Barriers project helps us to develop supportive and inclusive services. Could you tell us a little bit about Aiman's condition, please?
Yes, so Aiman has mitochondrial disease. We call it mito for short. Mitochondria are the battery packs in our cells, and everyone has them. But when you have this disease, it means the mitochondria are failing to produce enough energy for the body to function properly. So this causes Aiman to become tired very quickly, and if he becomes too tired, he can become significantly ill. There's no cure for mito, so it's all about managing Aiman's care as best as we can.
When you were diagnosed, did you find it easy to understand the condition, and were there any elements that you struggled with?
Well, it took 2 years to get the official diagnosis of mitochondrial disease. So by then I was pretty familiar with what mito is. It was when he first became poorly that I had no idea what it was. We didn't know what was happening because he literally became poorly overnight. And when the doctors first mentioned it to me, they said they think it's some sort of metabolic condition. They suspected it was mito, but obviously they didn't know. And whatever tests they were running, they were all coming back inconclusive. So during that time, I was learning as much as I could about mito. And yeah, there were elements that I struggled with because it's very technical. And even when the doctors speak to you, you have to always keep reminding them to use layman terms. And they do the best that they can. But at that time, obviously, you're just so stressed out, don't really know what's happening. And I was just trying to Google as much as I could and trying to just sink in what was happening at that time. It wasn't easy, but yeah, there's a lot of information out there which I just grabbed onto.
Perfect. Did you inform family members and the community about the diagnosis?
Yes, we did. Obviously, in the beginning, it was just suspected to be mito. But once we got the official diagnosis, I could tell people more about it. So obviously we started with family and friends. And then when people would ask, oh, we've not seen your son around in school, or is something going on, something happening? So obviously then try to inform the community as well about his diagnosis. And everyone has been really good about it, really, empathetic and trying to understand what mito is all about.
And what was the reaction from the community and family members when you informed them about the diagnosis?
Very, very supportive. We're really lucky that we have a very close-knit family. So we've had immense support from family, and we've got some wonderful friends as well who've been really supportive. And just somebody saying that, we're here for you if you need us, that just gives you a boost in itself, that knowing that you've got people around you that are really, really supportive.
Do you feel that there is a difference in the services and treatment you receive due to your ethnicity?
No, I've never felt that. We've been really lucky that I've never been made to feel that I've been treated differently due to our ethnicity. I'm not saying that we've always got the right service straight away, but I don't feel that it's been due to our ethnicity. It's just been circumstances of not being able to get the right service at the right time. I think that's due to other factors. I've never been made to feel that, neither has any member of my family. So we've been lucky like that.
That's wonderful. How do you manage your rare condition celebration?
So usually our celebrations consist of family get-togethers. Obviously this is before COVID. So I always ensure that Aiman has a backpack ready of all the things that he needs. That contains a glucose drink. That's what he has to help with just managing his energy levels from the mito. And then I have some snacks, creams for his eczema, and a fan to keep him cool, because mito makes him heat intolerant. So his body can't regulate his body temperature well. And whenever we've had large celebrations like weddings, I take his wheelchair, and he's actually had headphones as well, because he's dyspraxic, so he doesn't like loud noises. So we've been able to manage his condition well during times of celebration. And obviously, like I said, this is before COVID. So we've not really had to make major adaptations, but because I have things prepared for him, we're usually okay.
And have you made any extra adaptations to events such as Eid, or does that include those changes that you've made?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just all about managing Aiman's care. As long as he's hydrated, he's eating regularly, he's got snacks and everything, that he's usually okay. So when it comes to Eid and other celebrations, we've not had to make any major changes. It's just about making sure that he's okay, and if he's got all his little things with him, he's usually all right. And if he has plenty of rest as well. If we're doing anything, if we're going out or having a little get together or anything like that, as long as he's well rested, he's usually all right.
As a person of faith, do you experience any challenges accessing treatments or medicines from a specialist? And is there anything you would change if you could?
No, we're really lucky that I've not had any challenges, but there is no treatment for Mito anyway. There's no medication that he can take for that. The only medication that he's really had, that we've had any issues with, is antibiotics, because the capsules with the plastic coating on, they contain gelatin, and they're not suitable for us. We're Muslims, so we can only have things that are halal, or things that are suitable for vegetarians. And same goes for items that contain ethanol. We can't consume that because it has alcohol in. So those are the only really issues that I've had when it comes to accessing medicine because of our faith. But there's always alternatives available. You just need to ensure that you ask the doctor, does it contain any of these things? And I'm usually familiar with what has and what hasn't, and then just ask for an alternative. And doctors are usually okay with that.
That's brilliant. So it's all down to communication then.
It is, yes, it is, definitely.
Great. Can charities or patient organisations such as Metabolic Support UK do anything to be more exclusive for patients from BME communities?
It's just really important to be able to ensure that people are understanding the information that you're giving, especially when it comes to the technical terms. Not everyone's going to understand that, especially if it's brand new information that they're just given. And many people from the BAME communities, English might not be their first language. So it's important that they're understanding that the information that they're given.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's making sure that we make sure that those services are, are inclusive for everybody from all cultures and backgrounds.
Exactly. And just knowing a little bit about somebody's culture or religion, it makes the world of difference. Like I just mentioned about the medications and treatment, just knowing that Muslims must have things that are halal, they can't have things that contain gelatin, it just makes a world of difference. And if there's something that they can't and they don't understand, ensuring that there is a facility to help them with that then.
In regard to your experiences of health services, do you feel that they do enough to engage patients from BAME communities?
I think it's really, really good. I think it's improving all the time. It's definite. I mean, I used to work in the BME communities a while back, and the changes that I've seen, especially now that because I'm in that environment where, I'm accessing different services and treatments for my son, I think the services that are available are fantastic. And I do feel that they are engaging patients from the BAME communities.
What could health services do to make their services and treatment more engaging?
I know more services do this already, but having a translator to explain things is ideal for people whose first language is not English. Like I said, I know that many services already provide that, but ensuring that you're asking that if this is what is required, and also providing literature in other languages, that can really help. I mean, I have seen in clinics where they've got leaflets not only in English but in other languages as well. So I think that's perfect, and that makes services more engaging to people from the BME communities.
Do you have any advice for a newly diagnosed BAME family?
Don't hesitate to ask questions. If you don't understand, don't be afraid to say so. Just gain as much information as you can. I always used to have lists of questions ready before I used to attend appointments, just because obviously you're already under a lot of stress, anxiety, and sometimes when you approach a health professional at an appointment, sometimes all the questions that you want to ask, you don't. Something else might be in your head, but once you get there, you probably forget. So have a list of questions ready. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. And if you don't understand something, say you don't understand it.
And finally, what are the positive aspects you've experienced in regards to healthcare and patient support from a BAME community member perspective?
Well, I can't thank the NHS enough for the ongoing support that we've received. It's been absolutely fantastic. Whenever we haven't been able to access one service, you know, I've always said to Aiman's consultants that can you help us with this? Can you help us access that service? And they've always been so supportive. I can't say thank you enough to the NHS, and everything that we've been able to access has been absolutely fantastic. So we've been really lucky. I mean, I'm not saying that everyone is, you know, has been as lucky as we have, but I can only speak for myself and say that the treatment, the services, everything that we've received, we've been really lucky, and we've had so much support. It's been unbelievable.
Wonderful, wonderful. And is there anything else that you'd like to add, Sabrina?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to charities like Metabolic Support UK and my Mito Mission. Charities like this are absolutely fantastic for families when they've just received a diagnosis, they don't know where to turn to, and you know, the support that charities like this can offer is fantastic. Through these charities, you can meet families that are in a similar situation as yourself, and having that type of support is amazing. I mean, I've been able to get to know a few mums, and having that relatable factor has been really, really good. And just being able to say something and you know that the other person is going to understand what you're going through, it makes a world of difference, and it helps you feel not lost, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sabrina, thank you so much for today, and thank you for joining us on this project and taking the time.
No, thank you very much for having me, Helen. Thank you.
Thank you.